What's up everybody, it's Robin Gaming here. So it's kind of a slow, news period out there. It's summer right now, there's not a lot happening. I'm looking for, topics to talk about in videos. Let me know in the comments if you've got any for me. But I was recommended by quite some people on Twitter to make a video about what Naughty Dog's future is going to be. Of course, we're all pretty big Naughty Dog fans, I'm quite sure. They just wrapped up development a couple months ago on Uncharted 4, obviously. And now the question is kind of, what's next for the studio? Both in terms of, Uncharted 4 post-launch content, but of course the bigger question is, what are they gonna do afterwards? Now that their main series for the last decade or so is finished, what exactly is going to be up next for the studio in terms of, new games that they will be releasing, of course. So, yeah, let's pretty much talk about that. It's all pure speculation. We don't know anything right now, of course, at all. So everything I'm saying here is just guessing, of course, but nonetheless, it's cool to talk about that, right? So, let's simply start off with what we do know for sure is going to happen, and that's, of course, related to Uncharted 4. We know that they're gonna still be doing multiplayer updates for the next year or so. They've promised that a co-op mode is coming, we know a cinema mode is coming, more maps are releasing, they're gonna be putting out some more stuff in terms of, adding extra sidekicks and mysticals and all that cool stuff to kind of keep the multiplayer active for quite a long time. I'm not exactly playing it as much myself anymore, every once in a while I'll play it, but I'm sure that I'll keep playing it for at least the next, for at least this year, I would say. But I'm definitely gonna be checking out the co-op mode that's coming out, and the new maps, obviously. So they're gonna once again add lots of stuff still for the next year or so to keep it alive, so that people can, still play Uncharted 4's multiplayer mode. That's a pretty big thing, of course. Naughty Dog likes to support their multiplayer modes ever since, I think, Uncharted 2, since they've been doing multiplayer. Yeah, they're actually doing a pretty good job at trying to keep their multiplayers active in a way. But the big thing for Uncharted 4 is obviously, I think, the single player DLC. It's single player has always been the reason why most people buy the game itself, let's be honest. And with them announcing that a single player DLC is coming out for Uncharted 4, I already made a video on that. It's quite a weird thing because we haven't seen that before, but that is still going to be a very big moment, of course, because first of all, we really don't know what that's going to be. Are we still going to be playing as Drake? Is it going to be something completely standalone with the Sam and Sully, rumors that are out there, or Henry Avery, playing as him? Recently, Graham McTavish, who plays Cutter in Uncharted, and Lazarevich teased at doing a certain gaming project. Could that be the single player DLC, that he's actually making a return as Cutter or something? We don't know. Once again, it's pure speculation, but personally, the way I look at it, I think that, this single player DLC is going to be announced sometime probably at PSX this year in December, when PlayStation does that, and then we'll be releasing early 2017 like Naughty Dog did. The exact same thing with, The Last of Us, of course, back in 2013, 2014, the way they did that. I think it was, announced back then in November, and then it came out somewhere early the year afterwards in February, I'm pretty sure. So I'm definitely expecting the exact same thing to happen with Uncharted 4, and I'm very excited for that because that's going to be the final piece of single player Uncharted content that we're going to be getting for the next probably, 5 to 10 years or so, if maybe ever, right? I mean, it's not ruled out that they're going to continue it at some point, but either when Naughty Dog does that, it would be in like, at least not the next 5, probably not even 10 years or so, and maybe, a certain studio is going to pick up the IP, start making kind of like a reboot for the series, or playing with, we're going to be playing with Cassie, or maybe doing Sam and Sully for the next entries or something. I have no idea, but at least for the next 5 or 10 years, we're not going to be hearing anything from Uncharted, sadly, and it's only to be seen if they're actually gonna pick it up again and pretty much start making new entries for it. But for now, Uncharted 4, that's pretty much all we can expect from it, and then that's that, but the real big question is, what exactly is Naughty Dog going to be doing in the future, right? And I'd say personally there are pretty much 2 big possibilities out there right now what Naughty Dog could do. Either they could look into doing a sequel for The Last of Us 2, which I'm sure they have been doing already, and they have said they will be, or they're gonna start a brand new IP. And what that is going to be, is really a big question mark. Could it be something fantasy? Could it be something sci-fi? I think Neil Druckmann in interviews has already confirmed that Naughty Dog has really been looking into that for the past years or so already. Will they be doing a sequel to The Last of Us? Is that going to be with Joel and Ellie? Is that going to be a brand new story? Or are they simply going to start a new series, which could be, as I said, fantasy or sci-fi? I know Neil Druckmann is a pretty big Game of Thrones fan, so maybe they want to do something fantasy, but at the same time, time, I'm pretty sure the majority out there actually wants them to do something sci-fi. I think I recently did a poll on Twitter, and many people seem to really want a sci-fi game from Naughty Dog, so we'll see what they're gonna do there, but essentially that's all the choices they have, right? You know, lots of people are still asking for a return to Jak and Daxter, or maybe even a return to Crash Bandicoot if they manage to, you know, make a deal with Activision, because of course they have the rights right now. But I just feel, if I have to speak, you know, about it honestly, what you see, you know, Naughty Dog doing right now is really come up with these more grounded stories. They like those type of games, heavily focused on story and I guess being more serious in a way as well, and they simply couldn't do that anymore with something like Jak and Daxter and Crash Bandicoot. I know many people want them, and I definitely, you know, you're definitely allowed, of course, to really want that, and I get it in a way myself as well, but I do think Naughty Dog as a studio simply doesn't want to do those games anymore and wants to focus more, you know, on the more serious kind of story-driven games, which a new IP or The Last of Us 2 could do. Now, I've talked many times before about, you know, The Last of Us 2, what is it going to be? I still think it's going to be a sequel to the original one. We're still going to be playing as Joel and Ellie and stuff, and although the ending was very fitting, and I do think they could simply leave it at that at the same time as well, the reception to it and the way people really love that story and those characters makes me quite confident that if they're going to do a sequel, we're simply going to be continuing as these characters, and that's what a sequel to The Last of Us would be. Yeah, I mean, it's just speculation right now, right? We don't know what exactly they're going to do. I personally think they would be returning to The Last of Us first and then maybe do the new IP afterwards, but who knows, maybe they'll switch it up and they'll do a The Last of Us 2 at the end of the generation, just like they did The Last of Us at the end of the PS3 generation. We're just gonna have to kind of wait and see, but for the next game, I'm simply expecting either a PSX 2016, you know, announcement this year still, because they have been working on this game for a longer time already. People really need to realize that Uncharted 4 hasn't been the only thing they've been working on. I'm very confident of that. You know, a small team has been working on this new game already, and they've now fully shifted, you know, with their whole team towards that, while a small team is doing the Uncharted 4 single player DLC. So yeah, PSX 2016 or E3 2017, for the first time in a long time, Naughty Dog doing an announcement at E3 would be a very big thing, I would say, and then the release is most likely going to be somewhere in 2018. Now, for now, that's pretty much everything I could talk about in terms of the future for Naughty Dog. It's one big question mark, but of course, I would like to know from you in the comments, what do you think Naughty Dog is up to next? Will they be doing The Last of Us 2? Will they be doing a new IP? And what exactly is that going to be? So let me know in the comments what you want from them, what you expect them to do, also what you want, of course, from the Uncharted 4 single player DLC. And then for now, I hope you really enjoyed this type of video. Let me know in the comments if you've got any suggestions for other videos I could make in this dry summer period, of course, and leave a quick like if you really enjoyed it, because it just helps me out as a channel a lot. So I would really appreciate that if you could do that. And then for now, thanks a lot for watching, and hope to see you again next time.